Greetings, YouTube. Happy Thursday from the great Lone Star State of Texas. I spent 9 hours straight driving until like 4 a.m. to successfully get to Texas, and a lot of supporters are actually from this state. So, hey, we're in the same state. Scary stuff. But I have been spending, the last couple hours in the morning catching up on lineup messages and trying to get my head around all of the confusion and complaints and, dare I say, the classic overly used phrase, but sometimes it can be very appropriate, cash grab nodes. And the number one complaint that I've received from so many people involves the Mr. Sinister boss. And so I wanted to show you just some great feedback I received from the user Campo10026. And so what he did to start off this feedback to me was he took a screenshot of our favorite Kabam Mike's explanation of counters for this node. So we're going to break this down, and I'm not really going to hold back because that's not my style. But Kabam Mike said, to borrow the Heimdall-Angela synergy idea, the one champion I haven't seen anybody mention is Vision. He's not only poison immune, but can keep Sinister power locked very easily, so he can never throw his special attacks. Same with Quake, who has been mentioned, because played correctly, he'll never get off a special attack. Medusa proved to be a good choice, though you'll probably take a few losses there, and by losses I assume he means deaths, as with Hyperion. So, the feedback for Caustic Temper and EMP mod Mr. Sinister in Act 6, Chapter 2.2. Two of the four solutions he recommends include, number one, Vision, who is a pay-to-get character. Exactly. Because they stopped anyone from bringing in 4 stars, two things happened, right? The most obvious was the lack of synergy teams. We are not able to bring in synergies, and this was, of course, before the additional restrictions of the 5 and 6 star gates of the new Chapter 2 of Act 6. But besides this, Vision is a straight, either you spend thousands of units, you hopefully hoarded, or cash to get him. And that doesn't include what it takes to take him to at least rank 4, if not rank 5. So when Kabam Mike is suggesting Vision, he's doing two things that he swore they would never do, though we constantly see the opposite in real time. The first was suggest a specific champion that everybody needs, which Kabam used to say, we don't want everybody to have to go for the same few champions to do counters. And I think as a whole, the interesting thing to me is this game is way more fun because there are OP champions and there are trash champions. As annoying as it is to get, say, a Groot after you've rolled over an Omega Red, that still makes opening crystals fun. But at least in theory, they were committed to being a company that gave multiple options. Now he's taking all that back. And he's saying, actually, you only need a couple of options. And in Vision's case, you can't get this guy in a crystal. You have to spend thousands of units to not only get him, but get him awakened, of course, because Vision only has this power control, not only awakened, but at a very high signature level, which takes a ton of SIG stones. In fact, I saw a huge difference in my OG Vision just between SIG 150 and SIG 200. And so even though the Vision deal provided rank-up resources and even the ability to awaken him, it did not provide a ton of SIG stones to make him instantly a power control beast. So if you're somebody that recently purchased the Vision offer, it would be hard-pressed, for the average user at least, to have, unless they saved about the max inventory of 100 tech SIG stones or generics, you'd be hard-pressed to be able to even take this Vision up. And that's assuming you paid for him in the first place, which a lot of people couldn't afford because they simply can't justify that price point. Now, the second point is the synergy team includes 2 slots, yet I thought the no 4-star gate was to discourage synergy-only teams. Well, exactly. So Kabam Mike is doing classic doublespeak, where he's suggesting a synergy team. At the same time, he has said in past comments that they want to discourage synergy teams. And of course, that's because they make more money by taking out classic synergies or forcing people to buy more Cavalier crystals for synergy purposes, since they're hoping to pull the 5 or 6 star versions of the 4-star champs they usually use. Of course, that brings into separate issues of the fact that even if you pull those 5 or 6 star champions, you don't have the rank up resources quite often. And then also because of the EMP mod, Hypo and Medusa will get a ton of shock damage as they are constantly cycling buffs. All true points. So YouTube, I really don't want to be somebody that just, gives the haters an impression that I just go on and I rant and I complain because that's what I enjoy doing. I don't want to see this in the game. I want to see people who say, man, those fights were tough, but they were fair. I think that's what most people hope for. They don't want it to be so easy that it's a joke, but they also don't want it to be just a contradictory cash grab BS fiesta, as the great Seaton would say. And I think when I get these kind of messages, I have to shake my head because I call these things credit card nodes, where the node basically says, get out your credit card because unless you give us money, you're not going to get through this node. And that's not skill, that's spending. And it's troubling to see how many times we've seen this happen in the past week between Alliance Quest and Alliance War, and now, of course, the new Act 6 Chapter 2 content. But besides that, and yes, you're going to have a small percentage of douchebags that say, well, these people are just whining because they're not as good at the game as I am. Yeah, shut up. But regardless, this is not why we play this game. And the term rage quit is being thrown around so much now that it's disturbing to see people who have stayed with this game for 4 years and they have spent so much time and so much money to get their roster to this point saying, Prof, this isn't fun anymore. In fact, this puts the FU in fun. So Kabam Miike, once again, doing doublespeak, giving us just a few months ago the impression that they wanted rosters to be diversified because they wanted champions to be better counters for certain things. By the way, this isn't even getting into the fact that Kabam Miike, I still don't know if he actually plays the game. He'll send messages like, hey, just use Hood and stack, debuffs, even though Hood doesn't stack staggers, right? So I could go on and on. But the point being, we have contradicting messages in the game now from the head spokesperson of Kabam, who has now given us his solutions for this pay-to-win boss if you don't have the right counters, which are just a few champions. And keep in mind, there's about 150 champions now in the game. So if you have to target, say, opening a Quake because you don't have the ability to afford vision or you don't have vision up at a SIG level that is able to control the power much at all of a fight, your odds of getting that champion in a crystal, even a 5-star crystal, are well under 1%. And that's assuming the drop rate for all champions is even, and I don't buy that for a second. So it's discouraging, it's disappointing, but at the same time, this is why the forums exist. Keep this feedback up. If you catch Kabam Miike in a bold-faced lie, call him out. I mean, that's why the forums exist. We as a community deserve to have honest, real answers. And if you're going to lie, well, we're not going to lie down and take that.